So what does it mean that Jesus is the firstborn of all creation? As we read in Colossians 1 verse 15, he is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn of all creation. And the question is, does that mean that Jesus was created, or maybe the first one created, as some interpreters have suggested? When it comes to a word like this, the first question I just want to ask is, well, was Jesus the first one born? And the answer is no, he was not the first one born. Cain was the first person to be born in the world. And so when it says firstborn, it's obviously not talking about the first person to be born, in which case it's pretty easy to see that using this word firstborn is a way of referring to the rights and privileges of a firstborn son. The firstborn son in a family has had special authority, special privileges, and Jesus has that authority, those privileges when it comes to the whole of creation. So this is not saying anything about him being created or being the first one created or anything like that. And you can see that that's the way Paul is using this word because of the way he explains it, right? He doesn't just stop at firstborn of all creation, but he adds for. This is going to explain, why is Jesus the firstborn of all creation? For by him all things were created. So he has this place of privilege and authority because he's the one who made everything. And if it says that by him all things were created, that seems to exclude the possibility that he himself was created, because then he would have had to create himself. It says Paul is being very comprehensive. By him all things were created, whether in heaven or on earth, visible or invisible, thrones, dominions, rulers, authorities, everything was created through him and for him. And you read a little bit down, it talks about in him the fullness of God was pleased to dwell. And then again in chapter 2, in him the fullness of deity dwells in bodily form. Now these are not expressions you could use for somebody who is merely an exalted creature. These are clearly teaching that Jesus is God in the flesh.